I think for a long time, for a very, very long time in my life, I I thought I was too much. And this is not because I was loud. It's not because, I was trying to be too much. It was because of how people responded to me. I was actually quite quiet growing up. But when I spoke clearly, I spoke confidently, and I was told in different ways that it was too much. I don't think people realize how early these things start, our behavioral patterns. I don't think we realize how early these things start. You don't fully understand it at the time, but you can feel it. I didn't really understand it, but I could feel it. You feel when your presence in the room is when your presence is too strong for a room, a bit too strong for a room, you know. You feel it when your thoughts are a bit too direct. You feel it when people react to you instead of just hearing you. So, what did I do? I adjusted. Not in a dramatic way, just subtle, you know. I learned how to hold back, how to choose the quieter option, like you don't want to ruffle any feathers, how to say less than what I was thinking. I learned how to filter. You learn how to make yourself easier. I learned how to make myself easier to receive. I learned how to make myself smaller. And I don't think I realized what I was doing at the time. You don't know, but you just adapt, you adjust. And when you do it for a long time, when you do it too long, when you do it long enough, it becomes normal. Like I'm always filtering myself. You don't think that you're adjusting to people's expectations or any of those things. You just think that that's who you are. Like you're too much, so you have to edit. So you start to believe things like, maybe I'm too much. Maybe I should just tone it down. Maybe I should try to fit into, maybe I should just try to fit. And I think that's where a lot of my later patterns came from. Compensating, matching energy, adjusting based on other people. It didn't start as an adult, it started earlier. The cost of that was subtle, but it was real. Because the person you're showing to other people is edited, it's filtered. You constantly feel unseen. Even when you're present. And why? It's because you're not showing up fully as yourself. You're edited, you're filtered. You're there, but you're edited. I think that what shifted for me is realizing something very simple. I was never actually too much. I was just in places that didn't know how to hold me. So instead of me to change those spaces, I was actually changing myself. And that was what I stopped doing. That was exactly what I stopped doing. I stopped trying to be digestible. I stopped adjusting my thoughts to be more comfortable for other people. I stopped choosing the quieter version of myself by default because I'd set myself to choose the quieter version, the filtered one, the edited one. And at the end of the day, it was still me that was feeling unseen, uneasy. Like, I decided that I'd rather be clear than be accepted. I understood why I did that, why I adjusted myself, why I filtered myself. I wanted to fit in so bad. I wanted to, be understood. I wanted to be accepted. But I don't do it anymore because it didn't help me. It wasn't helping me. It wasn't helping anybody. This change, it wasn't a loud one. It wasn't a loud declaration. It wasn't dramatic. It was just a quiet decision within me to stop shrinking, because I realized I was shrinking. I wasn't myself. Who I really was and who I presented to the world as completely different people. Yeah, I'd become that way. So I just made a quiet decision within myself to stop shrinking, to stop being someone I actually really wasn't. I stopped holding back. And the thing is, it was so scary because you feel like, oh, if I start being myself, if I stop shrinking, I won't be accepted. People won't like me. People won't be able to digest me. I wouldn't fit in. But that was not what happened. I just started choosing spaces that could hold me. And I felt a lot better. And I speak clearer. And I left every room, every space, feeling like I was totally myself. I was more confident in who I was and who I presented. Everything changed. With just that quiet decision, everything changed. So yeah, I don't think I was ever too much. I just learned to hold back. And I stopped doing it. And the funny thing is, I wasn't still accepted. It wasn't like holding back made me feel accepted like long term. No, because at some point the real you comes out and it's like, So I chose rooms that will hold me. I chose to be honest with myself. I chose to show up as myself. I stopped shrinking. I owned up who I was. I stopped holding back. I stopped playing small. I stopped trying to make other people comfortable. If you're not comfortable with who I was, really, with what I had to say, or how I present myself fully, I realized that was alignment. That's alignment saying that this is not a person that you needed to talk to. This is not a room that you're supposed to be in. So I stopped being in wrong rooms. I finally started showing up in rooms that could accept and hold me. Now, I no longer hold back. I no longer shrink. I no longer play small. It can be uncomfortable at first because you're constantly, it's really for someone like me that's always that always evaluates, their character and how they show up. I might feel a bit uncomfortable, but eventually you realize that it's the best thing because you feel peace. I no longer hold back. I no longer shrink. I no longer play small. If this resonates with you, if you're someone that you use to hold back, if you're someone that is still holding back, if it's someone that still shrinks, stay here with me. I need you to decide what version of yourself makes more sense, what version of yourself aligns more with your purpose, what version of yourself do you actually truly want to be. Shrinking, does that put you in the rooms that you want to be in? So make a decision for yourself. I'll be sharing more conversations like this. See you next week.